Hello, mate. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Matchday Live. Listen, I'm taking you with me today. We're on a little bit of a tour behind the scenes. I thought, you know, I've got my lovely little media pass here, so I thought I'd show you a little bit behind the scenes. So before the game, we're about 3 hours until kick-off. We're here really, really early. Big game today. Big game today. I'm going to show you around. So we go into the media press. It's very red, of course, because we're playing at Anfield. Not quite as nice as the one at the Etihad, but it is a lovely place. And let's go and see where our position is. I always like to get here, see what's going on. A lot of people enjoying their food. I'm sure Brownie's here eating somewhere like he always is. You see, you can spot him. You get your own food. The football's on the early kickoff. Look at our pitchside position, shall we then? But before we do, Good grief. John Murray, an absolute legend. Everyone knows who this man is. Yes. We're live on Matchday Live right now. We've got Mike McLean over there. In the
heart of enemy territory.
Absolutely, yeah. We're showing people around. What do you think today? Keep your head down.
What I think, it's not beyond the bounds of possibility, is it?
He's my favourite person in the world. whenever I'm worried about a fixture, I speak to this man. Great to see you.
Yeah,
we will see you soon.
Yeah, off you go.
Let's go to the tunnel then, shall we? Okay, here we go. So here is the flash on, the interview area where hopefully at the end of the game there'll be a lot of happy City players here. So all the interviews get done by the media here, and then we're going to head out towards Pitchside. Hello, how are you? And we're going to go this way. We're going into the tunnel now, and this is a pretty cool bit. Follow me. So you know, like on TV, when you're looking at like TV and stuff, and you see them balls with all the sponsors on. Yeah, it's actually literally just that. I always thought it was like a massive room of it, but how wrong was I? Follow us, we'll go this way. It's pretty cool going to away stadiums and seeing stuff you wouldn't. Pretty cool press there. Obviously all their achievements here. And there is the famous sign. We've got the kitmen coming through. And here we go. We are at Anfield. Oh look, here we go. We've got the kitmen with us as well. The stars of the show. Hello. Good morning. Good afternoon. Look, you see her just escape there. You want to get this man on camera. Look, these. So what are you doing today? What's your job role today? What have you just been doing?
Come to put the kit out, haven't we?
There you go.
No kit, no game.
Simple as that. That's the reason the game happens. Nice to see you, lads. Follow me. We're going. Here we are, pitchside. It's pretty surreal, to be fair, every time you pitchside. We'll go and find our spot, which is this way. And I know it's that way because it's towards the away section. Follow me.
It's there, and they're up in that there.
This is where the boss sits. Lovely little place. Looks quite comfortable, a lot comfier than my seats. And here we go, we'll walk this way. It's very, very quiet in the stadium. And the thing is with this place, it gets very loud very quick. So as soon as I let fans in, it'll start to get really
Almost there, FG.
We are almost here. You notice how Matchday Live, right? Shout out to Paula and everyone. They always sort the spot right near the away fans. You'd love to see it. So this section will be full of sky blue later. And this will be where we will be. So listen, I will see you pitchside very soon with some special guests. Let's head to the studio.
Liverpool versus Manchester City at Anfield.
Have been our biggest rival. Incredible battles. We win, we lose.
It has sometimes been beautiful to behold.
And now the Blue Boys are jumping up and down.
It has sometimes been chaos.
Pep and Manchester City are getting the full treatment here on Merseyside.
It has never been anything short of compelling.
My biggest rival. Personally, I will miss him.
The fact that he's got another manager to fight with in Arne Slot.
Welcome to Anfield, Liverpool against Manchester City.
That is the reason why the last years Liverpool and Man City always were there.
That's interesting for us as managers, facing one of the best managers football has ever had.
Welcome to Matchday Live, welcome to Anfield. It's Super Sunday, and of course I am joined by the Superman himself, Michael Brown. Brownie, what a game we've got in store today at Anfield.
Amazing. I enjoy coming to this ground. The history, the two sides, right at the top of the Premier League. There's been great rivalry over the last few seasons. We're under a little bit of pressure as well. It spices the game up. What's Pep going to do? And the players will come and really look forward to these type of challenges. Great occasion, wonderful afternoon of football.
I mean, how do we feel about the fact that we're potentially underdogs for the first time in a very, very long time? I mean, granted, this is a difficult place for us to come, but we are actually not the favourites to get a result here today.
We've been spoilt, haven't we? That just tells you how well we've done as a team, as a football club, and these players have performed under the management of Pep. And and it's uncharted territory, as I would say. But it's about finding a solution, find a way. It doesn't matter where you're underdogs or not. These players understand the roles and what they've got to do, and it's a big test. Will we see a gritty performance? Will we see some flair? It's just really, for me, it's about going away. We're not losing this game.
Well, yeah, listen, let's get on to the team news then, shall we? We'll reveal the Manchester City team news. And what I will say is there is a very, very interesting change. So in goal is Stefan Ortega, and then our captain, Kyle Walker, is playing with Akanji, Ruben Diaz, Nathan Ake and Rico Lewis. Gundogan, Nunes and Bernardo play, as does Phil Foden, and of course our number 9, Erling Haaland. The substitutes for Manchester City is Ederson, Scott Carson, Jack Grealish, Jeremy Doku, Kevin De Bruyne, Josko Vardiol, Savio, Nico O'Reilly and James McAtee. Well, what a bench that is, by the way, Brownie. That's incredible.
So, FG, how are they going to line up the team?
I mean, look,
is it my turn for a question, or do you want to ask me?
You're the one with the football knowledge here, but I mean, how do we unpick what Pep has done here? Let's start with the goalkeeper, shall we? Stefan Ortega starts. I think it's just squad rotation, or do you think the Feyenoord game has something to
I just think Stefan Ortega, we talked so much about him, that save against Spurs, and now he was ready to play lots of football. He wants to play as much as he possibly can. Ederson's been incredible. We're just waiting to find out of Pep if there's a reason in particular why he's gone on and done that, but I don't feel like in any doubt that he's not ready for this occasion. Wonderful goalkeeper, shot stopping fantastic. So yeah, a big shock. I did expect a couple of changes, maybe not necessarily that one.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I mean, my next question, Mr. Michael Brown, is where is everyone going to be playing? Because we've been trying to work it out, and I'm sure everybody in the studio and watching Matchday Live is the same.
So I'm first in, so I've got to go for it, haven't I? We've just found the team out a couple of seconds ago. Say, right, Brownie, tell us what Pep's going to do. But do you know when I'm watching, I'm saying, right, we've seen Nathan Ake come up so much against Mo Salah. I think he's got his number. I think he's good on 1v1 situations. Will it be a back four? Will it be a three? I think there's flexibility of ways of that play, whether Nathan can just tuck around, and we'll soon see how that comes. Rico Lewis, what's his role? Is he going to be a left back? Is he going to be in central midfield? We know as well that Akanji can also step forward. So it's hard to guess, isn't it? Phil Foden, I think also we've seen against Liverpool and Trent Alexander-Arnold that he's gone down that left-hand side, dynamic, he can run the channels, he can put pressure on, and we might also see that. But the flexibility that we can move all around, and I'm sure at times it's going to be fluid. So I've danced right around and given myself lots of options, just in case we find out in due course that there is too many changes.
I mean, listen, Pep will, without question, surprise us. It's probably not a surprise to see Matheus Nunes playing. He's been one of the players that have sort of shined, so to speak.
You best be careful, because your hair could be.
I was just about to say, it's not raining here, by the way. It's just the sprinklers always come on when we go live.
It's getting a bit close, isn't it? We've got to be a little bit.
You can feel it on the back of us. Matheus Nunes, he's been shining this team. He's really stepped up a difficult period. He looks like he wants to get on the ball. He's very energetic. Will we see him in the middle of the park, do you think?
I'm not so sure at this moment in time, but what he's good at, he drives, he wants to make something happen, he's exciting when he picks the ball up. He's been sort of underperformed since he's come to the club, and now he's getting a run. So this is a game that now could change his Manchester City.
Yeah, it's going to be a great day here at Anfield, and we can't wait to be back to you. Let's head for now to the studio.
FG, thank you so much, and a very good afternoon, Manchester City fans around the world. Welcome to Matchday Live for this tantalising fixture at Anfield as we take on Liverpool. We have got FG live from Liverpool. Then as well, we're going to be going to find Nat, Nedum and Shaun a little bit later, and joining me in the studio, the delightful company of David James and Joleon Lescott. Joleon, great to have you back on. Quite nerve-wracking, this fixture. I was just saying to you off camera, you know, given the recent run of form, we know how hard it is to go to Anfield anyway, in particular with the run we're on. What are your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, like you said, it's nervous, more nervous than usual due to the form that we're in. Anfield is never an easy place to go, and if you're potentially low on confidence, it's even more daunting.
Yeah.
So from a level perspective, I'd take a draw right now.
I think I'll be very happy with the draw. We're going to bring you the team in just a second, but David, how important is it to try and bring some stability back into particularly the defensive side of the pitch for City?
I think what's been interesting looking at this recent run, and obviously the goals conceded will be the defensive issue, but I think it's more about the offensive options which are causing City problems, not being able to have the type of possession and control of the game which they've had prior to it. Having said that, in the previous game against Feyenoord, for 60 minutes, that was superb. But also it was 60 minutes with Jack Grealish playing, which we haven't had in those previous games. So defensively, I think you're always going to get exposed because you're not having the usual control up top. So it'll be interesting to see what the starting lineup is.
Well, speaking of David, thank you. You've set me up lovely there. You have got it on the bottom of your screen, but I'm going to recap our starting 11. This is how we shape up. Big change at the back. Stefan Ortega comes in for Ederson. Cal Walker captains the side. He plays alongside Manuel Akanji, who is also with Ruben Diaz. He is back. So great to have him back in the defence alongside Nathan Ake. It was lovely to see him playing earlier on in the week as well. What a season this young man is having. Rico Lewis is in the starting 11 alongside Ilkay Gundogan. And there he is back into the fold. Mateus Nunes comes back into the starting 11 alongside his Portuguese friend, Bernardo Silva, Phil Foden, and completing our starting 11, there he is, our number 9, Erling Haaland. David, I think we have to begin with I don't think any of us expected to see Stefan Ortega in that number 1 spot, in between the sticks. What do you think the thinking is there?
Well, given Ederson's on the bench, then it would suggest it's not an injury issue. And I think we're not subject to knowing how mentally players are after games, and Pep obviously is. That the game on the week, midweek, maybe was just not quite right enough to go into this one. And I think the thing with Ortega is we're not talking about a guy that we'll be surprised on how he plays. He's a top draw goalkeeper. He's done it many, many times for City, and I think Pep and the team will just say, fine, we've got a top stopper. Doesn't really matter for Eddie, of course. There'll have to be a few questions that you'll have to go and think about later, but he might be called into this game at any moment and have to be ready. So, but Ortega is more than capable of taking that position and playing well.
Absolutely. Let's then try work out Pep. Who's playing where, Joleon? What are we thinking? Obviously, do we think Rico Lewis?
Be midfield.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think it's going to be a more conventional back four. I think many of them will be getting forward either. With the likes of Gundogan, midfield, he may play a bit more advanced, but Rico, I see him as one of the pivots, and then Akanji potentially stepping in, but the threat that Liverpool have up front, Salah, what form he's in. It's not even form now, he's done it forever, isn't it? So it can't be form, it's just who he is as a player. But I reckon Ake's got to stay back a lot more and focus on nullifying that threat.
They've also we brought Nunes back into the fold. I think when he's played and he had a really good run of games as well, brings us a lot of energy into that midfield. How important is that going to be when you're facing this Liverpool side?
Yeah, I think he's probably one of the standout performers in regards to the inconsistencies in form. He's come into the team and he's benefited from injuries. Stuff. There's always someone playing out in a position. I think it was a Champions League game he played out at left. He was exceptional. So he's definitely probably one of the few players that our confidence hasn't been dented by recent results. But they need energy in that midfield. Liverpool play with a higher level of energy, and Curtis Jones and Gravenberch are playing exceptionally well. And as you said, the Anfield crowd will amp that up. So they're going to need legs, and that's why I do see Rico. And it's just a toss-up between Phil and Bernardo for me, who goes out wide right and who goes in the middle.
Yeah, I mean, I think we've kind of seen he does like to play Bernardo sometimes on the right, possibly. You said at the start of the show, David, talking about, obviously, we know we've been conceding goals at the back, but it comes as well from the offensive part of the pitch. So what would you like to see out of our forward players today?
Well, I find this an interesting lineup on the basis of, say, Jack Grealish coming in against Feyenoord completely changed the way City were playing. The one thing, we've talked about this many a time on the show, this season it seems to be a lot more crossing involved in City's build-up. Nunes has been fantastic in certain games, getting wide and getting crosses in, and that chemistry with Haaland, and maybe the reason why he's starting, that chemistry they had with Haaland. I think where City have suffered again in the last 6 games is difficult because so much of the Feyenoord game was brilliant. But in the previous defeats, having Bernardo out wide, for me, wasn't working. He doesn't have the dynamism to be able to take players on and get the crosses in like Jack, like Doku, like Nunes has mentioned there. So when you're talking about Phil or Bernardo going wide, I think it would have to be on previous games, putting Phil out wide, But I just think that this seems, I think you said it, this seems like a much more defensive side.
Yeah, that's the thing. I'm thinking, is he trying to combat their fullbacks and saying, well, Bernardo's better out of possession than Phil defensively. I'll put more responsibility on Bernardo to track.
Yes.
And have to combat that of Tsimikas or Robinson, whoever it may be, then Phil doing that. Obviously, Phil, again, more direct, more dynamic. So that's the bit I'm not sure of what he's going with.
Yeah, no, it just, I mean, it's funny because we're talking about Pep and he's trying to second guess it.
Yeah.
But it looks more like the right strategy.
Yeah.
That you're not going to necessarily win the game at the beginning. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like, let's make sure that we're not losing this game. I think when you look at that bench with Doku on there, with Grealish on there, then all of a sudden, when you're in a good position, you go, come on, we'll go for it.
Yeah.
Liverpool's one defeat this season against Nottingham Forest. Forest played pretty much 60, 70 minutes with a defensive unit, then put a couple of strikers on and won the game.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that City by any stretch are Nottingham Forest, but there comes a time when you've got to respect what you're playing against.
Of course, and where you're playing as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, let's bring the Liverpool team news now. This is who Arne Slot has chosen to take on Manchester City. We're bringing it onto your screens there. So there we are, 4 changes for Liverpool. First thoughts on that squad, Joleon?
Strong, very strong. I'm pleased Curtis Jones isn't playing. He's playing very well at the moment. Trent's back in. Again, he's always up for these games and he always has an impact.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Gomez, to be honest. I didn't know which way they were going to go, but now looking at that, it doesn't...
Konate's injured.
Yeah, but I mean, I was more optimistic when he wasn't playing. I'm thinking, it may be Konzo, who is a good player, but he's young and inexperienced. Yeah. I was hoping that was the case, but then when you see Gomez, you're like, that's not as weak as I thought now.
Yeah, potentially could have been.
I'm thinking if that's Bradley and Konza, I'm thinking, there's an opportunity to get down that side, both relatively young, can play on emotion, and you maybe have to get after them, but not when it's Trent and Gomez. There's a lot of experience in their back four now, so it's probably more daunting than I thought.
We mentioned as well the midfield, David. I mean, you've got Szoboszlai as come into the fold there as well. Also up front, Gakpo. Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you'd asked us to put 2 teams together, they wouldn't look anything like this. I mean, as Joleon said, I mean, Curtis Jones has been a revelation since he effectively got his starting line in the game against Chelsea a couple of months ago. Mm-hmm. The Gomez one makes sense, and not just because he can play in that position, but he can play in multiple positions. Gakpo starting, I think one of the problems Arnie's got in what is starting to be a fantastic season for them is with Gakpo and Nunes, both of them are better coming off the bench, not necessarily starting the game. So it wouldn't have surprised me in one way if it had been Nunes first and then the other player would come on as sort of like the impact player. But that midfield, I thought Curtis Jones would start in it because I think that's their best trio in that midfield. Again, you're trying to think, is Arnie looking and thinking, what's Pep going to put up for and what am I going to go against it? And there's something refreshing about the Pep with his record and Arnie's start to his Premier League career that they seem to both be thinking about the opposition.
Sorry, Joe.
No, I think this is the only fixture that Pep's ever done that with, though, to be fair. When it was Klopp as well, I think he's always tweaked a tactic. I remember him going there first and he was wanting to play it from the back and then there was a couple of mistakes and then the next time I'm seeing him there, it's like, we'll just miss out that press. We'll go a little bit more direct and I'm hoping that's the case today because the last thing you need to be doing at Anfield is building their momentum of the crowd. So pressing and you miscontrol something half and the crowd, it just lifts the whole atmosphere. So that's the last thing you need to be doing as an away team. So if you can miss that out by just going long and they might win it, it might be a more controlled possession they get, but again, it's not lifting the momentum, which is what you can't do.
It's interesting because I've been to a few games this season recently, and what Joleon's saying is exactly right. The crowd influenced the game so much. Games that have been quite dead, nothing happening, then a bit of an interaction or a bit of a kerfuffle somewhere on the pitch, and all of a sudden the crowd get going, and then the team get going, and the influence of the crowd on the team, and again, if this is a defensive setup or strategy from Pep, it's to quiet the crowd down.
As you've obviously both played there, as a player,
Yeah, you're aware of it.
And is there any way to like almost try and put? I mean, because everyone always speaks about with you that you're always you're quite composed and will never let anyone.
Yeah, no,
but with the crowd.
Safe. Yeah, just be safe. Don't take any chances. Don't be trying to do anything you shouldn't be doing. And if you're clearing, even if you're clearing it out for a goal kick or a throw in, whatever it is, make sure it's clean. Because if they sense any kind of lax touch or miscontact, it's on. Like, and you can literally hear the noise. So you just make sure you're not giving them anything to feed off, because that's what they want. So, yeah, I remember playing in the semi-finals of the League Cup there, where we lost. And the throw-in came back to me, and I went to clear it, and I slashed it out for a throw-in. And I meant to do it, but I didn't mean to, like, lash it like that.
Yeah.
That was it. That was it. It erupted like they'd scored. I was like, oh. It just lifted them. And like I said, it's just, I've never forgot that you can. That's the only place where you can go there and it can happen that instant. You can be on top of them, and then all of a sudden something happens like that, a tackle or whatever.
It's the whole place just goes
up.
It's not just like the people where
it's
the
not there.
Yeah.
So
and conversely, then as well, if it been for Liverpool, how much does it then help the players?
Oh yeah.
but this is the thing. And as I said, I've been there watching these games, and if the opposition, Manchester City today, don't get in any kind of emotional confrontations, like throwing their arms about, allowing people to have a go at them.
Yes.
Then it's a noisy murmur, which doesn't help the Liverpool team.
Yeah.
If you do something to upset the crowd, then they'll get.
Seen Arsenal go there. Was it last season?
When they had the thing on the sideline, they were losing 2-0. Something happened on the sideline with, I think it was Arteta and Klopp.
And that was it.
And the crowd just flipped and Liverpool nearly won the game.
Yeah. No, I think it happened to City, though, if it wasn't last season, 2 seasons. But I think the first 30 minutes, I've never seen a performance like at Anfield. They were mute. Yeah. We controlled the game. And I think it was like a Robertson challenge or something that just got them going, and then that was it. Do you know, the floodgates open. It's frightening, isn't it?
Scary.
Yeah, I'm glad I've not played there anyway. Just a quick question as well before we look back at the Klopp and the Guardiola era. Obviously, that's since Guardiola has arrived. How's Arne Slot changed how Liverpool play?
I think they probably play with a bit more controlled possession.
Right.
More than, I was speaking to a friend who's a Liverpool fan and saying, I think, and I don't want to sound disrespectful, they're probably a more enjoyable watch now than exciting. I think it was very exciting to watch on the club, but it wasn't always a great watch because it might go a bit direct, and again, it was effective. But I think now they play with a lot more controlled possession and passing through the lines and using players' ability rather than just relying on Salah's going to get us out of trouble, even though he is dominant in front of goal, top goal scorer.
Yeah, I think before under Klopp there was an urgency to get forward.
Yeah.
Whereas what I've seen this season, and sometimes it's boring, I have to say, they don't mind having to play the ball back and start again.
Patient,
Yeah, they'll still make the runs forward, and yes, of course, when they're scoring goals, there's a lot of quality going forward. I mean, Mo Salah, the one thing that I think has been a massive difference this season, Mo Salah controlling the ball and running without losing it. And that might sound really stupid considering the amount of goals the guy scores. Yeah. But the amount of chances he had to create to get those goals in previous seasons, I think he's 1 in 3 shots from shots this season. He's scoring 1 in 3.
Wow.
But more importantly, he controls the ball when he gets it. Difficult balls in, controls it, gives it to someone else, which means that the game is still in possession with Liverpool rather than him losing it and then them having to defend. So, yeah, very much more pragmatic about the way they play.
Yeah, Salah's an imperious forward as well. Let's bring this back up then.
He's got good hair as well.
We wanted to just reflect on, obviously, Arne Slot, it's a new owner of Liverpool, but looking back, obviously, the Klopp Guardiola era, which I think anyone would say, in the last 8 years, probably been the biggest fixture, and Pep has said as well, his hardest manager and his hardest team to face. Over that, you can see we're there on points. This is up until today. 511 goal difference. I mean, plenty more goals. Not easy, though, to have dominated that Liverpool team under Klopp, Joleon.
No way.
What Pep's done.
Yeah, and obviously he's being respectful to Klopp, and rightly so, because he's an outstanding manager for Liverpool. But I think it's more the Liverpool factor than the Klopp. Like he's going to be equally as tough.
Yes.
Under Slot now, going to Anfield. And that's the Anfield factor, I think. I don't think any manager's dominated any manager at Anfield. No one goes to Anfield, and I think Man United it's pretty even there, and they was always dominating the Premier League. So, in regards to the battle, the Klopp Guardiola thing was exceptional. But It's more the Anfield.
It's the Anfield factor.
Yeah.
We were reflecting on the 8 seasons. Obviously, when he first joined 16-17, we finished 2 points ahead of Liverpool. 17-18 was the Centurions year. 2018-19, that was our formidable. We finished just a single point. And that season amazes me because, I remember Liverpool only lost one game.
Oh, yeah.
They only lost one game and we still won. I mean, that in itself is an unbelievable
You don't need them to be going invincibles. Football doesn't need that.
Nah.
Liverpool aren't going to do it, are they? But I think you're looking at Klopp. I mean, I think that expression is probably the best one. Pep looks like he's laughing, and Klopp looks a little bit desperate because to be that good and not have the success, especially in the Premier League, for all that time, to win the Premier League just the once, finishing by a point behind, as you say, on a couple of occasions.
Isn't that close? Like, is it?
Nah.
Really, when you look, it's great that you can put the stats together, but in terms of what they was there to do, it's not really close.
Nah.
But if you compare Pep to fixtures at Anfield, then it's close.
Yeah. But overall,
you say that, as I say, when you're losing the league in Liverpool's case by 1 point, you don't get the trophy. And it doesn't add up to the tally, but the season was very close, and that's the point. The frustration that must be in Jurgen's head in some ways. Yeah, he's been very successful. I mean, most successful Liverpool manager since, I think, Bob Paisley, probably.
Yeah, you are. And do you want to know? So, we'd say Bob Paisley is probably Liverpool's greatest manager. 20 trophies he's won, and Pep's only 2 away from that for City. Yeah. Which is quite amazing. It just shows as well how well Pep's done.
I think that's the thing. You're looking at a great manager in Jurgen Klopp. Wow. You're looking at an exceptional manager in Pep. Yeah, look at that.
It's frightening. It really is frightening. You know what I found interesting, though, reflecting back on these seasons, is so we got up to that formidable season, and then the 19-20 season was when Liverpool won it, and we finished 18 points behind them that season. Then, obviously, as we know, we've won 4 in a row. But it was just interesting that 18-19 season was the refresh. Do you know, it was the changing of the guard. Does that maybe feel like this season now? I just found it interesting. We had that block, then we kind of had that season off, did a block. Mm-hmm. Does that feels like this is maybe the season
maybe,
to refresh?
And you'd like to think so, and it shouldn't be unexpected because it takes a toll on you physically, mentally. To do what they've done, it hasn't been done. No. So no one's a benchmark to mark that off or to gauge it off. Like, they've set a new level. Consistently over seasons, they've been doing that by 10, 12, 15, 17 wins, whatever it may be. But 4 titles, it's not normal. And it's not like the same team is finishing second 4 times in a row either.
No. And also getting to more or less every quarter-final, semi-final and final as well.
So, and we're 12 games in, and the season is far from over. So, and I don't think... it's going back to my kind of 90-point analogy that... winning 30 games, you can afford to lose 8 type thing. Mm-hmm. Even if Liverpool win today, it doesn't give Liverpool the Premier League. It doesn't mean that City can't win the Premier League. It makes things a little bit more difficult, of course. But when you're talking about a reset, it's just a bad spell at the beginning of the season, not the end of the season. I think Arnie will be in that change room and he won't say, win this, we've got the league. He's got to continue to prove that he's the right manager or the best manager. City just have to make sure that they do their best. And if they end up losing, like Klopp has done on a couple of times by 1 point, the frustration is easier to deal with by saying the team that beat us had to be their best.
Yeah.
That there will be more trophies adding to that list for Pep. I'm very sure of that.
Of course, because we got that early Christmas present. Pep, we love you. Thank you, my mate. Quick question before we do go back to Anfield, where FG is with Michael Brown. Obviously, great start for Arne Slot, but have Liverpool, are they as good as what the results have said?
Yeah.
Really?
I think they are.
I look back and go, Forest, I thought they got lucky against Southampton. I feel
they were lucky because of the way the goals, but in terms of the grand scheme of the game, they dominated the game. Like, I don't even know how many shots Southampton had. They didn't have many.
No, they didn't. No.
You know what I mean? So it was probably 2, maybe 3. Mm-hmm. So, again, I know what you're saying, and I'm optimistic in that point of view, but when I've seen them play, never think like Real Madrid. I know it's a different competition, but weren't even close.
Nah, they were just amazing. I
think to be successful, you're going to have games. For all Pep's Premier League wins, there'll be games in those seasons that we all know about, which weren't particularly great performances.
Yeah.
I think the issue is when you're putting game after game after game where you're being lucky or fortunate. then you've got an underlying problem which you're not dealing with.
Yes.
I think to have the odd game here, the one thing that Arnie has done tremendously well, he mentioned Nottingham Forest there, post-international, they were playing a game against Nottingham Forest which they hadn't played in the previous three, a style of football. It didn't work and Forest took advantage of it. They played Chelsea after the next international break and they weren't great, but they got over the line. The Southampton game was after the international break. And where all your players are all over the world, the couple of days to try and get them together back in the right mindset, you just get the win and then worry about it after. The following game, Real Madrid, as Joleon said, they're going to smash them. So he's learning as a manager, not just in the Premier League, but just how to handle masses of international players going away. Something that Pep has been very good with for the amount of years that he's been, and hence the reason he's got that big long trophy list.
Yeah, it is. And going back off that point as well, though, with that fixture, I mean, as fans, obviously, we're more critical. You guys know more what the reality of it is. The toll on the players' bodies as well.
The travelling.
Yeah,
100%. Yeah. As I said, you may be able to switch off a little bit when you're travelling, but yeah, jet lag, fatigue. You're not be able to do the recovery properly. So hence why when sometimes there's European games, they stay over because you're able to recover, where obviously you don't have that luxury when you're playing in South America. You got to get back on a plane, literally 10, 12-hour flights after games and stuff, and then you're back in training the next day. So yeah, it definitely has an impact. But you like to think players obviously taking care of themselves, but depending on the opposition, and for these teams, every fixture is the opposition's biggest game of the season. Like even for City now, it's their biggest game of the season. But so will Nottingham Forest be Nottingham Forest's biggest game of the season. Yes. Always that, so they've always has to fight that element.
Oh, hello.
The FG.
Someone pop into the studio.
FG, the week on.
Yeah, tell you what's up, what's going on there. You know what? Well, let's take a pause actually, because what I do want to do is we've been bringing it all week, saying that we of course bringing you this show from Manchester, we're bringing you FG from Anfield, and we're international, baby, because Natalie is over in Canada with Nedum Onuoha and Shaun Wright-Phillips. They're putting a Matchday live show on over there. We're going to be bringing you their stuff live, but before that, and it's all right for some, they've had a lovely day trip to Niagara Falls. So let's see how they got on.
Look at this sign. Is there for a reason. Do not climb up there. Thank you. Oh yeah.
It's a long journey, but
fresh, isn't it?
Here we are, Niagara Falls, ready to take some pictures of the trophies, eh?
Hopefully it warms up right.
Yeah, I can't see it, to be honest. Oh my gosh, I've absolutely nailed that. Do you know what? I'm going to be on Matchday Live soon on cams, you know. I'm just trying to do a little starter pack for my influencer days. Those guys are getting so wet. It probably explains why they're all wearing red ponchos. Rainbow trivia for you. You can only see a rainbow with the sun to your back. Did you know that?
No, I didn't, but that's why I say if you need any information on anything, please phone Nedum. He'll either know or he 1000% knows how to get the correct information.
Listen, if I don't know something, I won't say it. But this is a factual thing, and the rainbow is right there. So you're welcome. It's genuinely breathtaking, and we're lucky enough to, for it to not be raining or anything like that. So you can see it in its full beauty, and getting all soft and whatever saying it, but it's brilliant. Huge privilege to be here. So, what's up, little fella?
I'm just looking at things that you're not meant to do when you are here, but you two just seem to be doing whatever you want to do.
Listen, I was told by somebody.
Sign is there for a reason.
It just it says danger.
Climb up there.
Is that what it says?
Yeah, like it
says danger.
Don't put your leg up there. This guy. Chief, what we doing? Chief, We're in the middle of something.
Hey, what's done you? Do you know what's done you in here? The angle. You look tiny over there, bro. You look tiny over there. Oh, you look so small on that picture.
You have to move the camera.
Oh, look, man. You look so small.
Why do you want to switch?
Listen, do you want to switch? That's the question.
I don't business how tall or small I look.
All right, cool then. We're all good. Right, so that's a wrap then. Here we are with the 3 trophies at Niagara Falls. It's been amazing for me. Have you enjoyed yourself as well?
Loved it. Every part of it,
yeah.
To be honest with you. Obviously it's cold, you know.
Well,
I don't like the cold.
You know,
I don't like the cold, but I've actually enjoyed the whole experience.
No, this feels very, very special to see these trophies and to get a chance to be here. I'll tell you what, these trophies have been to some special places around the world, and I think they'll be going somewhere else soon. So, yeah, this has been awesome. We go again?
Yes, we do.
Gentlemen, welcome to Toronto. We have an incredible 5-a-side team today on Matchday Live, because here in Toronto we have Nedum and Shaun Wright-Phillips. Back in Manchester, Kel is with David James and Joleon Lescott, and then over at Anfield, FG is with Michael Brown. So take Kel and FG out of that, and that is an incredible 5-a-side team. Between them, they've played against Liverpool 87 times. So we thought we'd have a little look, pull up some stats and work out which of you has the best record against Liverpool. So, you feeling nervous?
Oh, well. We've got the best chance here.
What are your memories, Shaun, of playing against Liverpool?
Yeah. Well, one major one. Yeah.
Just in general.
I mean, some of them. No, but then there has been a few good ones.
I got sent off once against them. Does that count?
Yeah, I scored against them.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was going to come to that, Nedum. So, shall we start with the positives of Shaun? So, Shaun, you did score against Liverpool and you had a couple of assists. Do you remember the goal?
Yeah, I do remember the goal. I think it went across the face. I got a through pass and I just drilled it across in the bottom corner.
Yeah, that was in 2003. It was a 2-1
loss. I didn't remember the year, though.
David James was in goal for City that day as well.
So it went in there. He conceded goals, yeah?
Yeah, it was his fault, clearly, yes.
Yeah,
and you both played together in a game against Liverpool in the 2009-2010 season. That was you and Joleon, centre-back pairing there as well. And you got an assist in that game.
Is it the Shaun Wright-Phillips show? What's going on here?
Hey, don't hate. What are you hating for?
I can't help it.
OK, Nedum, I'll come to you then. So this is all clubs where you played against Liverpool. So there was a game in 2015 when you were playing for QPR against Liverpool. Do you remember it?
Depends. Was it good or was it bad?
It was bad.
Don't remember it.
So you gave away a penalty and got booked.
Did I?
Yeah. Don't worry, the penalty was saved. And then 4 minutes later, he got booked again and he got sent off.
No. No. I don't remember that happening.
Can I say something? I feel like he's my friend and like a brother to me. I feel like you're bullying him today, Nat.
Hey, actually, is that everything you know about me versus Liverpool at Anfield?
Yeah.
Oh, cool, because I did get an assist in 2010, but we don't need to talk about that in a 1-1 draw. But that's fine. We won't discuss the good things. Let's just talk about the bad ones.
Okay. So, I didn't even know you'd ever been sent off in your career. I just thought you were a gentle giant, Nedum.
It's football, isn't it? It brings out the worst in me.
So, if we look at the stats, you played against Liverpool 12 times. Do you know how many times you beat them?
Me or the
team? You, just you.
Once.
Twice.
Ah, I'm even better.
Twice.
I'm so good, honestly.
Twice.
So good.
You had a 16% win rate against Liverpool.
That's fine.
Shaun, you played against Liverpool 19 times. Do you know how many wins you had?
Is this across all my clubs?
Across all your clubs?
No, I don't know. I reckon over 5 times, maybe?
Twice. It was also twice.
This guy. Well, I had to be confident, didn't I?
Sorry, are we doing percentages again then? Do you want to say
so
that?
his win percentage was 11.
I had to be confident. I couldn't go in there at 1.
Do you want the others from our 5-a-side team? So J-Mo played against Liverpool 16 times. Do you know how many times he was on a winning team?
0.
Twice again. Twice. My goodness. 13% record he had. Now, then you've got Joleon and Brownie. So Brownie played against Liverpool 18 times. He was a winning team four times for Brownies. That was 22% win record. And do you know what? He never got sent off against them either.
Oh, congratulations
That's strange.
Just 4 yellow cards for Brownie against Liverpool as well, which seems surprising. Joleon played them 22 times. Do you know how many wins he got? You want to guess? It's not 2, by the way.
I reckon it would be up towards 5.
It was 5.
How did you know that? Okay.
Sorry, guys.
Okay.
Hey. So Joleon and Brownie both had 22% win rate. You had 16, Jay Morn 13, and Shaun 11. How do you feel?
I'm happy with the 2. Liverpool's an unbelievable team. You got to be lucky to win at Anfield, I'll tell you that much.
Yes, you scored at Anfield, yes, and you assisted. Well done. We won't forget that for you now. That was one of your 3?
Yeah, listen, they all matter. They all matter.
They all matter. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you for playing along with that. So hopefully we'll raise.
So there we are. They're carrying on with their Matchday Live show over in Toronto. Before we speak about that, do we just quick mention on Shaun Wright-Phillips's Tash?
Is he there for? Was
it for Movember or?
No,
is that choice?
I think he's there for another 48 hours.
Very good. Very, very good.
It's going over a lot of people's heads, that.
The ones that know, they'll know.
Yeah, very good. I mean, Joleon, you were quite humble there, because when we were talking about the stats, 22% win rate.
I'm not surprised. It's not great, to be fair, but...
No, I mean, it's funny that, it just goes to show out how difficult, but 22% win rate for yourself. And then, JMO, you were only 13%.
Yeah, I should be trading places with Wright.
Right, what we wanted to do is we wanted to get your combined 11. So we've asked David James to bring us his combined 11 of City and Liverpool players in the Guardiola era. So we're going to dissect it and tuck into it. Because there's a big player missing for me that I'm not happy about, David, but I'll get to that in a second.
There are a few big players missing.
OK, so you've gone, let's begin, Alisson over Ederson.
Well, looking at today's starting lineup, I'm right.
None of them start. None of them.
Actually, how many? How many stars
What's your point here, J-Bo?
No, since in the Pep era, I think Ali is.
Okay, Pep's the manager, you know.
Right. I think Ali has been the best goalkeeper in the world. I'm saying past tense simply because he's spent a bit of time out, and Kelleher is playing extremely well. But anyone who watches this show regularly knows that I love Eddie as well.
Yes.
So it's always been a bit of a of a tight one.
Joleon, what do you want to flag up next?
You said Trent over Kyle. I've just seen that.
Yeah.
Kyle's probably not even arguably the best right back in the Premier League history.
For what, his assists and goals?
But that's not his job.
This team is going to dominate every game. They're not going to be defending.
You don't know. When they get to the finals of the Champions League, you may have to defend a little.
Trent will score from a free kick. It was a big, again...
That one you got wrong. I love Trent as well, but I think when you're talking about the best ever...
I'd have Walker in over Trent, personally.
OK. I look at what Trent... And we're talking about top capabilities.
Yeah.
Yes, Kyle is a tremendous defender. Better defender than anyone else in that position. But when it comes to assists, free kicks, distribution, Trent is...
So, OK, there, but your argument for Alisson isn't the same then? Because you haven't put Edison's better with his feet?
No, but
When you talk about assists, Edison...
What?
Edison's got more assists than Alisson.
How many goals has he got?
Doesn't matter.
Come on,
You're talking about assists.
How many has Ali got? Yeah, one against West Brom, which actually got them in the Champions League.
He's got more assists, so he's got more points.
Ali's beard is better.
He's got no beard.
I think...
That's why he got injured.
The centre-half pairing, 110%. Class.
Yeah.
And I think Robertson has been unbelievable. I mean, I don't know where... I was very surprised David Silva's not in that 11 for me, personally.
Right,
David
Silva has to...
Under Pep, I think David Silva wasn't... His best time wasn't under Pep.
Interesting. OK, fair enough.
Yeah. I think Rodri is the best player in the world, so that is nailed on.
That's easy.
KDB under Pep within the...
easy decision.
I love Phil Foden.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
The thing is, there's obviously no Liverpool midfielders in there. I don't think there has been... I'm sure Liverpool supporters would go, what about? But I don't think there's been a better midfield
I agree.
in that era than those four.
The only one, possibly, Mane. Possibly. Because there was 2-3 seasons where he was more or less unplayable.
He derailed them when he left.
Yeah.
I think he was way bigger than they thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I consider Mane more of a forward than a
midfielder.
Yeah.
Fair. Just on that, have you ever had that in a team where, you know, when a player's gone maybe for other reasons and then maybe you did know, but I didn't realise how important he was to the team?
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
We had Struth now, Aston Villa midfielder.
Gaffberry.
Huh? No. He. My mind's gone blank. Terrible. Basically, every game I used to use a few choice words, which would be directed at him in the middle of the park.
Wind him up.
No, because I thought he was going to get sent off all the time. When he had tackles hard. Went to Inter Milan. Anyway, he went to Inter Milan and won the Champions League. And it wasn't until he'd left that I went, I actually miss him going in harder tackles in the midfield. I'll get to him. I can see him as well.
Okay. We'll go. And then, obviously, you mean Haaland and Salah. There's been a lot of conversation. For me, I think now it's rightly so that Salah is probably one of the best players the Premier League's had. Up there.
Yeah. Top 5?
I think there's an argument for top 5.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
It depends what you're measuring on. I mean, just
impact. Just impact. Forget the stats.
We talked about it. We talked about it earlier, and again, my observations this season is that his contribution to Liverpool has now, in the last few weeks, if you like, been goals more so. But he was the quickest player in Liverpool's Premier League history for 10 goals, 10 assists in all games.
Well,
50 as well. I think he was like 50 and 100.
But it's his conversion rate, I think, is better now. But his impact on the rest of the team, when he gets the ball, Liverpool keep possession.
Yeah.
It's not a toss-up to whether he'll control it and they'll lose possession. He's not running into play. He might do it today, of course, but he's not running into plays and losing possession. All these things make him and Liverpool a better team. Yeah. And if he was already in the possible top 5, this season is putting him firmly in there.
Yeah, I just think it's hard to say the best ever for any player in this generation, this era, because I don't think this is the best era. I don't think you can just say someone's the best. When there's previous eras that had a better collection of players. I don't think the top players like Kevin, Vinny, Virgil, Rodri, Kevin, Mo can all play in the previous eras, but there was additional versions of them players.
Of them as well, yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't just one.
Yeah.
Like Kevin, who else is there in midfield, really?
At the moment,
Cole.
Yeah.
Probably say Cole, but there was Lampard, Gerrard, Yaya. There was 5 or 6 of them. Do you know what I mean? And then there was 5 or 6 defenders. It wasn't just one. And then you're looking, you was like, no, there's a collection of each position. Probably the fullbacks is probably more dominant now, but that's why I find it hard to say he's the best now, and this isn't the best era.
But it's interesting, again, when you go back to the graphic with Pep's success, because City have been the best team, it's very difficult for anyone else to get into the argument.
Yeah.
And the second best team is arguably Liverpool.
Yeah.
So there's only a couple of teams to choose from, and I think before, as much, there were more teams winning. Yeah, but that was because maybe the standard wasn't as good that other teams could have better.
No, the standard of football wasn't as good, but the standard of players.
Yeah,
definitely.
I concur. I agree with that. Lovely stuff.
You're gang up on me. Are we starting to take sides now, are we?
No, I'm always
always.
David, you know that. Listen, some footage there from Anfield. There they are, the boys heading out for a warm-up. Also, we do know they are watching the show over in Canada as well, which is great. So we want to say thanks for watching.
We want to say, Shaun, sort out your moustache. That's what we want to say. It's exactly what we want to say. Shave that off. When we come back to you next live, that best be gone.
do you think he's going to pretend to be a Beverly Hills cop?
Wow. Right. So we've just seen there he is, the little magician there he is. Stockport's Iniesta. Phil Foden warming up at Anfield. Speaking of Anfield, FG and Brownie are there now, so let's head down to them.
Yes, welcome back to Anfield. Right, OK, it's time to discuss Liverpool's front three against Manchester City's defence. Where do we start? Should we start with Mo Salah?
Yeah, it's not a bad place to start, is it? Mo Salah, lots to talk about. Obviously, whether he's going to stay at Liverpool, the future. He's got him stopped in the mixed zone about he's not happy, but he certainly doesn't seem that way with his performances and his assists, his goals, and that's what's the most important for Liverpool Football Club at this moment in time. I think what we've got to do is we've got to look after him because he just drifts in, he's got some wonderful ability, great different types of finishes, and Nathan Ake has done really well against him. If he's going to play out there, we know that Mo Salah thinks, well, he knows me, and I can't always have the better of him. So, interesting choice.
You can hear the noise, and that is for the away team, our team, Manchester City, who are coming out to warm up. We'll continue that discussion about Nathan Ake, because he's not only done well against Mo Salah, he also did really well against Bukayo Saka, and as a fullback he offers so much protection as well, doesn't he? Do you expect him to stay deep today, just to essentially try and neutralise that side?
I don't think he needs to go too far. I think we've seen Josko doing different jobs where he goes and joins that midfield zone or gets higher up on that left-hand side. Ake'll go when the time's right, but I think we can just shift it round slightly, and we might see it narrow up as a 3, and we might see a Kanji also drift out. So a little bit more sort of stay at home, don't go anywhere, always be ready for that diagonal pass, the overlap as well, just coming to make sure you go and see where Salah is.
And on the other side, we've got our club captain, Kyle Walker. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about Kyle Walker. I think really unfairly, he's our club captain. He's a man who lifted the Premier League last season. He's a man who's won the treble at this football club. And he, in my opinion, is the best right-back we've had at the club. He's had a bit of a difficult time, like a lot of the players in the team. But how important is his pace to go against someone like Luis Diaz?
Well, I think he's won everything, hasn't he? Since he's come to the club, you've seen the trophies that have been delivered. He has had a problem, we know that. He's been carrying injury. And it's like tough with everybody. When you're not winning, you're accountable. Could his performance be better? I think he's honest. He comes and joins the media straight away. He'll be the first to tell you that he could have performed that little bit higher. But great one, isn't it? Diaz and him. Diaz will drift inside, and do you go with him? Do you stay? Robertson will like to come. So lots of food for thought. But it's again, what type of setup? How does the back four adapt against these? Do you stay really high, which we've seen Pep do, right on the halfway line? We're not having that natural number 6 in Rodri's protection. Or maybe we might say, today's game, we might just need to drop at times, maybe later on, a little bit deeper.
As you can hear, the Liverpool team have just come out. I mean, the atmosphere in this stadium is something special. It's a big game, very much like the same at the Etihad. The fans in the home side are really, really up for it. It's a massive opportunity for them, isn't it?
Oh, it's just a big game. This is it. You just look at the media line. Everybody's here today. I mean, so many people right along, ready to see something special. This is when you sat here, pitchside, and when you're looking, you start to see the concentration, the levels, the detail. It is brilliant, and then it starts to evolve and starts to see who's done what, and then how the changes. This is what it's all about. No wonder everybody's here. The whole world are watching this game, FG.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm pretty certain our group of players will relish this opportunity, and I hope everyone watching is relishing it as well. Let's head back to the studio.
Wow. Thank you so much, FG and Michael Brown.
Jesus.
Interesting there. Obviously, they mentioned the Anfield factor as well. I want to go back to the City team as well. Oh, there we go. There's a ghost in the studio today or something.
It's Christmas.
Looking at Manchester City, Joleon, obviously 17 goals conceded, I think, in the last 5 games. Where for you can we maybe improve, and what do you think has been? Obviously, we were very low on confidence as well.
Yeah, confidence is a big thing for any player. It's a difficult one this time because it's not the same type of goal or chance we're conceding. Like previous years, dominate possession, and it's always been a counter-attack, and it's been a one-on-one, so it's a difficult chance to stop. But at the moment, it's like Cross's direct play or whatever it may be. Teams are getting opportunities. So, again, I think from a defensive point of view, and it's probably against Pep's nature, you probably sit a little bit deeper and let play happen in front of you, so it's easier to see rather than try to win it, be a bit more patient out of possession and then let them make mistakes rather than make them play fast, because teams are so efficient now. They recognise you get the ball back, you go direct pretty quick. Yeah. Well, not direct as in long, but forward. Yeah. You could be behind our back line. Said it's be a bit more patient, sit a little bit deeper, but it's not always easy to transition into.
Have you ever had that in any spells in clubs? You know, where you're in that a bit of a rut. Do you know
more than a bit? At Villa, we was in a rut. It was a real one. Like,
why are you looking at me?
No, I'm talking about me.
Oh, good.
Like when I was at Villa. So yeah, again, but we didn't have the calibre of player. Like
what do you do? Like what were the conversations had as a team?
Yeah, you're trying to kind of look at what's the consistent factors that are happening. Like again, you could lose games and it could be one-off things and you'd not be able to put your finger on it. Where when you look at certain traits and be like, well, that's happening every week. So how do we stop that from happening? And he said, look at the habits rather than the one-offs and try and perfect them.
Yeah, I think the key thing is understanding why you're doing what you're doing in the first place. And as obvious as that sounds, as I say, you can have an indifferent game, get away with the result, and then that you start having more in different games which you're getting away with, and think because you're getting the result, you're doing enough.
Yes.
Then when you start losing games, all of a sudden you didn't realise the problem was actually at the first set. And just to extend that, I thought the 1-0 win against Southampton was enough. I didn't think it was a great performance.
No.
But that was the game before the defeat at Tottenham.
Now,
and if you'd have looked at
Brentford was one at home. We won that, and I was like, oh.
No, but
there were better performances after that. I think with the Southampton one, it was a 1-0 win here at the Etihad, wasn't it? And it was kind of like, OK, right, it's enough. There's 3 points, carry on with it. Then you go to Tottenham, a couple of goals, and everyone's been talking about Man City's high line. A lot of the goals that have been conceded later haven't been because of high lines, it's because of individual mistakes.
Yeah.
This lineup reflects the individual mistakes.
Yeah.
And therefore, Pep has maybe looked at it and gone, I thought we were going to get over the line, especially in Feyenoord.
Yeah.
3-0 up, 60 minutes gone, we're in a good position. Individual mistakes have ended up costing us a draw. Not that it knocks us out of the Champions League, but all of a sudden that's 5-6 games.
Yeah.
And if you add Southampton to that, that's 7. I need to freshen things up.
Yeah.
I don't think
But when it's individual mistakes, that can have the biggest impact on your confidence.
Yes. I was going to say, well, because then you're in...
So then, when you're in that same scenario, you're like, don't make a mistake.
Yeah.
So that's when you make a change.
But if you know, and this is a silly thing about, and I say as obviously it sounds, if you know why you're doing it, everyone's going to make mistakes. But if you know it's just, I mistimed this, I mistimed that, then it's easy to get over.
Yeah.
If there's something else going on and it's causing mistakes on the pitch, then that's more difficult to deal with.
Interesting.
That's the point, because you can go on, and I've been in the position, you go on there not full of confidence.
Yeah.
You're capable, but you're not full of confidence. And whatever is nagging in the back of your mind, it might not be the fact that Erling Haaland's the best centre forward or Joleon's the best defender. It's that something else is. And you're trying to get rid of that just so you can do your stuff on the pitch.
And I think you could feel that. And I think Pep knew when Feyenoord did get that goal, that first one. I think he kind of knew that the next two were going to come, and you could feel that in the players as well. And I think Pep spoke about in his pre-match interview this week, talking about being stable, and when he was asked to elaborate on it, is being able to be, you have a solid kind of confidence that when something does go wrong, don't
Yeah, but again, and that's easier said than done. We've seen Pep obviously say that the marks, like he hasn't done that before. So there's obviously everyone's doing something different because the results aren't going as what they're accustomed to having. So it's a new experience for a lot of people, and it's the highest level of scrutiny they're at as well. So that heightens it again.
Yes.
So again, you may have lost. Like Nathan Aki, when he got relegated for Bournemouth, would have lost relatively more games than they won.
Yeah.
But no one was watching.
Yeah.
Now everyone's watching.
Yeah.
And you're being analysed differently. So again, that has a different impact on your confidence level.
Of course. But I go back to what you said earlier about. I said earlier about 12 games in.
Yeah.
It's having that resilience to be able to say we are going to have bad moments, not just in games, but in months, for example. While Liverpool are on in the background, Liverpool don't mind being a goal behind.
Yeah.
They don't mind conceding goals. As much as they want to keep clean sheets, they don't mind because they understand it. And at the moment, they have that kind of resilience where it's like, OK, let's crack on. The Nottingham Forest goal happened, I think it was the 75th minute. There wasn't enough time to get it back because they thought, I think, they were going to win the game anyway. Whereas City and other teams, Arsenal in particular, when they concede, all of a sudden it completely changes the team. And it's having that confidence, that resilience to say, OK, we might be brilliant, but every now and again we concede a goal.
Yes.
So if you can get that in your side, no problem at all.
We'll be all right. And we've had that before, and it's only been a few games. That's it. We can head back to Toronto because over there we've got Natalie, we've got Nedum, we've got Shaun, Wright-Phillips, and we've got some fan questions.
We are here. It's the 4-in-a-row trophy tour. We are live from the heart of this beautiful, beautiful city today. Welcome back to Nedum and to Shaun. Thank you, gents. Now, you have all been sending in some of the questions that you would like to ask our legends, and we've picked a handful of them out, and I'm going to ask them to them now. So this is not me. This is the crowd. Okay, ready? Happy? So the first question from the crowd today has come from Sadman Khan, and Sadman would like to know, who was the most influential teammate or mentor you had at City, and what impact did they have on your career?
For me, when I first came through, I'd have to say Paul Dickoff and Shaun Gower. For me, being an attacking player, you need people to have confidence in you that you're able to create chances and, of course, help the team. And as soon as I went across the train with them, they both said to me, "We've seen what you do. just create more chances for us, please. And it was just as simple as that.
Oh, Paul and Shaun, love them both. Nedum?
Yeah, for me, it's actually Shaun Wright-Phillips. Hope he's not listening. And the reason for that, so Shaun's a few years older than me. Not a ton, just enough. And when I was a ball boy at the old stadium at Main Road, I used to ball boy for him when he was playing in the first team and when he was playing in the Youth Cup. And I dreamt of being able to do what he was doing because he came through the academy. He was one of the most significant people to make it into that first team. And it meant that every time he went to train, you had the belief that maybe we can do this. And then when I got the chance to be in and around the first team, he was there. And he was so welcoming to the point where every youngster that came through, if Shaun was there, he made sure they had a good chance to be successful. There was never a guarantee that you'd play, but you knew that you felt welcomed, and it's because of this guy. And even though he's little, he can take a lot on his shoulders. So I'd definitely say Shaun Wright-Phillips. Without him, maybe I wouldn't have had the career that I had.
Oh, Shaun, how do you feel?
I feel like I'm going to cry.
Oh, Nedum, yeah. Oh, I knew you were a softie. Okay, next question has come in, and the question is, what are your pre-match superstitions? And that's coming from Becky.
You know what? I didn't have any. I always felt that if I played and it went wrong, it's on me, rather than if I forgot to do something before the game, so I never had any.
Okay.
So I didn't really have many superstitions. In fact, I don't think I had any as such. There's things which you have to do as part of a routine to be ready for the game, but the only thing which I was consistently doing was in the last maybe 10, 15 minutes before a game started, before we went out to warm up or to play, I'd be talking to my teammates. We'd be laughing, we'd be joking, so that when we walked out together, we were in good spirits. So making sure we're in good spirits was probably my only thing.
Oh, are you just trying to get ours? Oh.
Well, sorry for being a nice guy.
Nice. Very nice. Okay, the next question is from Andrew. Andrew, I love this question. I'm going to test you. It's a test for you. If you could, which player would you sign for City right now?
Right now, in the circumstances, the way everything's going, I think Bruno Guimaraes.
From Newcastle?
Yeah.
Why do you like him?
I think he suits the way we play, but he's also got that defensive knowledge. If you know about him, he's wins a lot of duels, and he's most probably up there in the top 5 in terms of winning the ball back within the Premier League.
It's a good question. I'd like Guimaraes as well, actually. So I'll say him because I don't want to pretend that we care about players from rival teams. So we'll say Bruno Guimaraes, yeah?
Okay, great question, Andrew. Thank you very much. Okay, the next question.
Right, they are carrying on over there. I've got some fan questions that have been sent for you both as well. Is that okay?
More than okay.
Lovely stuff, gentlemen. Thank you. Okay, this first one was from Joshua. What was the first moment where you realised you made it as a footballer?
Oh,
good question.
Yeah? Don't know, you know.
I know an answer, but...
Go on.
Do you know, the weird thing is you never really make it.
What do you mean?
Because you always... I was taught this as a youngster. You sign a contract, you become professional, but then you have to play for another contract, effectively. So you have to continually prove yourself. It's not until you finish that people can go, oh, that's what you did.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you are always, especially if you're competitive.
Yeah.
As soon as you think that you've made it,
yeah,
you might as well start packing your bags and...
I get the point, yeah.
Looking for breakfast TV.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't ever think I felt that. There was moments when I was like, recognised, oh, that's not just a standard thing that you've done. And more so when I retired.
Yeah, so when you can look back on it.
Yeah, you look back and like...
Not even like on your you know, I don't know, your debut for Wolves.
Nah, because I'm like...
That's the first game. It might be the only game.
Yeah. But I was naive then to think, if I just play how I play, I'll play next week, and had a simple mindset, naively probably, but it helped me just stay.
Yeah, grounded.
Nice. But I remember being at Everton and the physio saying to me, one of my first call-ups for the national team, and he's saying, do you recognise what this is? And I was like, what do you mean? Like, obviously a massive honour, the biggest honour you can have.
Yeah.
He said, you're recognised as one of the best 23 players in England right now. And that was like, oh.
Who was that against?
I don't remember. Estonia. But just being called up into the squad is like, yeah, that was a big achievement than I've probably realised.
Yes, in that little moment. Yeah. Nice. Joshua, thank you for that question. These have all come from the audience over in Canada as well, which is lovely. This next one comes from who we got here. There we go. Farhad. Hello, Farhad. And he says, would you rather have played in your Manchester City team or the current one? Great question. Go on, Ruben, lad. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to say mine. Like, I know this team has achieved more, but...
Yeah, your team. Come on.
Like, I spoke to Nigel yesterday, he was 40 yesterday, you know what I mean? So, like, just the lads. Just the lads, yeah.
How was Nigel?
He's all right.
Good old night.
He's all right.
What a player, by the way. I remember him scoring at Anfield, actually.
It was a tackle. He slid it in from about 40 yards. If we can get that up, he literally slid the ball in the net.
I remember me, my dad and our kid, we were right behind it as well.
That was never a goal. That was never a shot.
It's unbelievable.
Tackled it in the net.
What about you, David?
It's got to be the team that I played in.
Yeah.
I mean, what we did wasn't as spectacular. We didn't get anywhere near winning the trophies, but like Nicky Weaver's save at Wembley, it was part of the building blocks that allowed Joleon to be so successful.
Nice.
And if it wasn't for Nedum, you know, cheering us on in the changing room beforehand, 15 minutes before kick-off.
Christian says, what message would you give to any young players finding their way in the game?
It's an open question. Yeah. Where are they? Are they in an academy? Are they just youngsters wanting to be?
David, I mean, just generally, you know, like just generally, if there were, you know,
be consistent with your habits.
Yeah.
Like, don't. I think it's easy to find excuses not to do the right thing.
Yeah.
No, and a lot of people say distractions. If you let them be distractions, just be consistent
with your good habits. That's good.
Ask questions.
Nice.
Ask your coaches questions. They are the ones there to educate you, to help to improve you, so you can make it when you retire. But keep asking questions.
And understand the difference between being a professional and a footballer. They're different things. Being a professional is making sure your standards are right.
Yeah.
And people can have careers by being professional. And footballers, if you're just a footballer, it can catch up with you and then you fall out of the game very quickly.
That's great. Nice. Thank Joleon. There we go. Lovely as well, David. There we are.
That better.
Nice, lads. All right, final one. This one's from Anthony. Favourite City player of all time?
Old Sergio Aguero. I think he's the best signing the club will ever make.
Agreed. Over Yaya?
No, he's the best player. Okay. His favourite, that's it. It's different.
Okay, nice.
Nice. Different, that.
Okay,
I'd say Sergio.
David?
Alex Williams.
Nice.
Yeah. Nice. Not just because he was a great goalkeeper, but for 35 years he was part of City's community.
Okay.
So, proper City player.
So we're coming over from all the heartfelt answers on the show today. It's lovely. I'll throw mine in, David Silva.
Yeah.
The magician. What I was able to watch live, I've never.
He's the most consistent player I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Didn't get in my team though.
I don't think he ever. He never had a spell when he was off.
Nah.
In the 10 years.
What was he like to train with?
Unreal.
Really?
Unreal.
Really?
He injured me once with the ball. He had the ball and he injured me. Tried to turn and he dropped this turn and I tried to mimic it. Just felt my knee just go. I had to literally come off training.
No way.
Yeah.
There was a great line from a commentator I love where he can't tackle him in a phone box.
He never went in the middle. If he didn't want to go in the middle and run those, he just, I remember for 3 weeks we were doing them every other day. 3 weeks he didn't go in.
Never went in once? Wow.
He's just it's unreal.
That is class.
Yeah.
Right, let's head to Anfield. We can put some questions to FG and Michael Brown, and we're getting close to it, guys. 14 minutes till kick-off.
Yes, welcome back to Anfield as the players warm up behind us. We're going closer towards kick-off, and what we're going to do, Brownie, is we're going to get some questions from our fans in Toronto. We're a global
It's
club.
not a quiz, is it? We keep doing quizzes on Matchday Live. I'm waiting for the whiteboard.
There's no quizzes.
It's not that, is it?
Maybe Natalie's doing a quiz in Toronto.
Okay.
Who knows?
Let's hope she's got them working.
We've got a question for you from Jacob, who's in Toronto, and he said, what was the hardest away ground to play at and why?
I think the memories growing up, Liverpool Football Club, so successful. I made my debut 17-18 for Manchester City. We had to come here in the Cup and the League. And it was 6-4, 10 in 5 days to 0. So, as you can imagine, this place to me is obviously a very, very difficult place to come. So, I think that tells a story. Anfield is certainly one of them.
You're not still suffering from that, are you?
No, I moved on quite quickly. Yeah. FG, it's about football. You have to react. You have to change. And but it's always been tough. I think it's the atmosphere. It's just the history that the club has, and no wonder teams still find it tough to come here, as we've seen with Real Madrid.
Yeah, and hopefully we will not be seeing this afternoon. OK, thank you, Jacob, for that question. Molly has sent a question, and it's a really good question, actually. Which manager had the biggest influence on your career?
I'm always thankful for my debut. Alan Ball gave me my debut. Sadly, not with us anymore. But I think by getting me sort of back on track, getting me back to the Premier League when Manchester City got relegated and I left the football club, Neil Warnock was very different in management, that's for certain. But what I did is I like to have fun. I like to enjoy day-to-day training, and he let us do that. And I laughed for 4 years under him. I had him a little bit later on at Leeds United as my career came to an end, but I would say he was probably put me back into the Premier League when I got my move back to Spurs.
Yeah, some things never change. Michael Brown is still here, still having a lot of fun. Final question for you. If you had the chance to play alongside any current City player, who would it be and why?
It's a bit embarrassing, really. I have to be careful because when the lads, because he's stood behind us actually, and if you can work it out, see if we can get a little shot of him. And in commentary or in anything we do for the club, I'm always like, this guy has got everything. Because I just feel like someone on a football pitch who can run back, he can try, who can create a goal, he can score with both feet. Have you guessed who it is yet?
I mean, look, we'll leave that to the viewers.
Did you see his little trick right on cue there where he just flicked it up? Listen, Kevin is the genius, and if you ask me, I would love to have played with Kevin. I just thought, there you go, Kevin, open that right foot and watch him deliver. He's got everything, I think. He's an amazing player for this football club.
Yeah, what a player indeed, and we're so blessed to have him.
That was an easy one, I like this.
I mean, that was good.
That's the best one.
Thank you to our fans in Toronto for the questions. We might have to make this a weekly thing. The players are warming up, final preparations. How are you feeling?
Yeah, I'm feeling slightly anxious, a little bit cautious, not as confident as normal. And the reasons are obvious, because the players are feeling a little bit fatigued, a little bit lacking in confidence, but I don't know. I've started to feel all right. There's a few changes and people have got to go and prove themselves. So it's a big one. Go and win it. This club's constantly done it for the last few years since Pep come into this football club, and I expect no different today.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's going to be a great game. We're going to head back to the studio. Much love to our fans in Toronto and everyone watching. Remember, you can listen to this man and another legend on the commentary team on the Man City app, so check that out.
FG, thank you. Michael Brown, thank you. And thank you for those questions from over in Toronto as well. Fantastic stuff. Gents, we've only got about 5 minutes left. This show...
Your nerves calm down yet?
No. And then I see that, and that doesn't help Joleon. Do you know what I mean? But I have faith, and I have faith because the 11 players on the pitch as Pep have chosen are this. We have got Ortega in goal, Kyle Walker, Diaz, Akanji and Ake, Rico Lewis, Gundogan, Phil Foden, Nunes, Haaland and Bernardo Silva complete that starting 11.
All have won a title, so they'll be all right.
They'll be all right, thanks, Joleon. Before we get your final thoughts and reflections on the team and the game, let's just take a look at the current Premier League table. We come into this game fifth. That was after some wins today for United, for Chelsea, and it was a draw in the Spurs game. We do, of course, can go back to second with a win today, but what are your thoughts on the table looking at that? So Forest.
I think they're, again, tough game coming against them. And Brighton, obviously, a good team to watch. But I think as the season goes on, they'll fall short of Champions League. Top three, they'll be there or thereabouts.
It's funny, we know all the conversations as well, but it was City win today. It's back to 28? Yeah, 4, 5.
But more of a momentum shift as well.
Yeah.
That's equally as important as the points. That the momentum can change then. Your confidence can just be back.
Straight away.
Yeah. With Anfield.
Looking at the game then, David, what would you like to see from City and how are we going to go about getting a result today?
Well, I think, again, looking at line-up, I would like to see them... I mean, first of all, I want an amazing game of football, whatever happens, but I'd like to see them be more pragmatic, as I say, more defensive. Don't try and take the chances because as Joleon alluded to before, you get the Liverpool fans behind the Liverpool team, then it's essentially like a 12-man. Be pragmatic, use substitutions wisely. Pep, as we know, doesn't like making substitutions unless he's ahead, traditionally, or very much behind and desperate. But use substitutions at an even scoreline. Jack Grealish, Doku, to actually cause problems for Liverpool's defence, and Erling Haaland, if he gets a penalty, to do something different, because Caoimhin Kelleher will already know what he's going to do.
Interesting. And then obviously as well, we know kind of the threat that Liverpool have going forward. Interestingly as well, the reason Pep was asked about choosing Ake, and he said that Ake has actually in the past had great games against Salah. I also think Ake is one of the probably best one-on-one.
Yeah. I think Phil Foden said he's the best.
Best one-on-one.
Yeah, and it doesn't surprise because he's got the most patience when he's defending. I've seen him against Saka, shut him down because he wants to allow them to go and then beat me rather than I'm going to close you down so fast then you will beat me with momentum. It's like just patience defending, but yeah, he's...
Also, I forgot to ask you at the start of the show, Diaz coming back into the fold. That feels big. That feels important.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think anyone's at the form we've seen him over previous years, but yeah, I think he's plays with a lot of heart and passion, and this is a place you're going to need to use that.
You really, really are. So we can see there, these are live pictures from Anfield. Don't forget, you can get your full commentary from Alistair Mann and Michael Brown. We want to say a massive, massive thank you. I've absolutely loved this show. I mean, we've been over in Anfield, we've been over with you guys in Toronto as well. Enjoy the game, Ned, Shaun and the audience over there. And I've loved my time in the studio with you guys. And don't worry, we'll be back at half-time and we will be back at full-time. Before we do go, gents, you know what's coming? Predictions, please. Joleon?
I'll take a 1-1 right now. Take a 1-1.
We'll take a 1-1. I'd take a 1-1.
Yeah, take it.
David, come on.
I think the scoreline is going to have 3 goals in it. It's going to be 2-1, and it depends because City haven't scored.
Who's winning 2-1?
Don't sit on the fence, David.
I think Liverpool are favourites to win this game 2-1.
Yeah.
There you go.
There we go. Fair enough. There we are. Do you know what as well? Quite interesting. It's not over 200 games. It's the first time City have been favourites going into a game. That's mad, isn't it?
Yeah,
amazing stat. Right, there we are. There are the predictions. To all you fans around the world, thank you so much for joining us. As I say, come back at half-time and come back at full-time. The final thing for me to say is come on, City.
Well, is it a crisis or simply a blip? The next 90 minutes at Anfield may go some way to determine the answer to that very taxing question. For the first time in a very long time, City are outside the top 4 with their grip on the Premier League trophy loose.